Hey everybody, how's it going? So it's been way long overdue, and I actually talked about starting this project a year ago, and I guess I'm going to finally get around to doing it. Basically what I'm talking about is I'm going to build another frame, and so what's the concept of this frame? Well, I'll try not to ramble on too much, but basically it's going to be a replacement for this bike. This is one of my, I think this is probably my second mountain bike that I ever owned. It's an old Barracuda A2B steel frame, 26-inch wheels. I rode it for a few years, and then eventually this is kind of my second big welding project. I probably did this, I don't know, 15, 17 something years ago, somewhere in that time frame, but I welded single speed dropouts onto it, and so yeah, it's I don't know, just kind of chopped the rear end off, and they look like the Surly dropouts, but before Surly they were called, I think, Sub 11 or something like that. So yeah, welded that, kind of a decent weld. I don't know, kind of the overall construction's not great, but anyway, yeah, this is the bike that I'm going to be replacing. Some of the things I'll be reusing on this bike, probably a few random things, grips, maybe the saddle, and maybe something else. But the crank, this old XTR crank with an old Sagino BMX chainring. So basically what I'm going to be building is I've decided it's going to be a 27.5 whatever, 650B, kind of a semi plus size. It's going to be a 2.35 inch wide tire. It's kind of what I'm building it around. And the basic design and concept, like I said before, I did another video, put a link to it at the end, but it's going to be a kind of a replica of this old early BMX bike, 1975 Webco. Did a couple videos on this one, just as a heads up. I did get this frame pretty, see that? It's pretty straight. Still got to repair that crack, and then whenever I go to paint this one or get it painted, or the new bike, I guess you could say, I'll get them both painted. Gonna both get them painted the original red color that one was. So yeah, anyway, got my new frame tubing kit to just showed up today when I go from work, so I haven't even looked at it yet. So let's bust this thing open and give you a little more details on what I'm actually going to do. I want to keep a packing list just in case. This thing's pretty heavy. I don't know, but it is. I am going to attempt to do not only the complete frame, but a fork as well. So this will be definitely a first for me. Not sure how that's all going to work out. All right, so we've got first thing. There's the bottom bracket shell. It's got a little decal. Nova Cycles. Pretty cool. Probably put that on there just because, I think it's pretty good company. But anyway, there's my shell. And it's going to be, being a single speed, I'm going to do the disc brake system, obviously. That's going to do a rear only disc brake. It's, I don't know, the BMX bikes that I had when I was a kid, that's all we ever had was a rear brake. So, yeah. So anyway, bottom bracket shell, I'm going to have to drill and put some threaded inserts there to, fix the elliptical tandem bottom bracket, because it's going to need to rest right in those grooves. So just standard English 68 millimeter bottom bracket. kind of done my measurements, and I think I can make that work. So here's the fork kit. And I'll see how this works out. I'm wondering if this is going to be long enough, but this is the legs of the fork. So they still need to be mitered. I'm just, debating on whether these are long enough. I'll draw it up and we'll figure that out as we get there. Don't want to handle this stuff too much. Seems like when you sit around and you handle it, it starts to get rusty. But fork legs, this is probably the steer tube. That's what it looks like. So yeah, one end's quite a bit thicker. That's going to be the bottom there and the top. So yeah, that's the actual fork steer tube there. Got the head tube, and I ordered a little. The last one I did on my gravel commuter rain bike was it was a standard 1.1 cups or whatever. This one, and the outside diameter was 36 millimeters. This one's 37, so it's a little, just half mil extra wall thickness. That's definitely a little bit thicker there. So this bike's going to get some abuse, I'm thinking. Like the little crown race for the fork. Your crown race presses onto there. Got some dropouts. These are essentially the same dropouts I did on my other bike, but what I'm going to do here is, they've got the eyelets. This is basically what they had in stock at the time. That was, least expensive option. Basically gonna probably weld these up, or I'll probably cut the actual derailleur hanger off, match these up, and actually on the last one I used the eyelets to level, get them basically, yeah, they're gonna be parallel to each other, but you can use those eyelets to actually get them in the exact same plane if you have a flat surface to rest those on. And once I get them welded up, I'll just cut the eyelets off, because I'm not going to be using those. And let's see, went with on this one, a little more radically bent seat and chain stays. These look like the chain stays here. Actually, that's pretty similar to the last ones I had. There we go. And it's got a little bit of an S bend to it, which ought to be pretty cool. Should work pretty nice. Accommodate a pretty fat tire, and be able to go back in. It's going to be a 135 rear end with that skinny bottom bracket, so I think this should work real nice there. And then the seat stays, got kind of the same bend. These have a little more bend than the other ones. Just whatever, pretty straightforward round tubes, with the bend, obviously. Mock all that up for later, and then I got, looks like the C2 top tube and down tube. I guess that's the diameter of my down tube on the other one. I did a 38 millimeter down tube, and yeah, that's it. So back to the concept of this bike and my reasoning for building this particular type setup, what the bikes can be used for and so on. So this bike, I like to use it, it's basically, with the gearing on there, it's, obviously 26-inch wheel, it's got a 41, and then I think that's a 17 tooth in the back, so a lot of, there's a trail that's a little 4-mile loop, mountain bike trail that's basically just 3 miles down the road from me, which I don't ride that. I've ridden that trail so many times I kind of haven't ridden it much in the last couple of years, but I found it's a great little trail for winter. I'm mainly a road racer, so I like to ride out there during the winter, and it's great kind of the strength, full body strength workout, core workout, whatever. With this system, it's pretty over geared. So I'll figure what I'm going to do. Basically, let's get back, stay on point. Using it for that kind of a cross training bike, winter, have fun on the mountain bike, trail bike. 2, there's a pump track that they've just built that's along a trail that I ride all the time. It's pretty sweet. I'll probably be riding it there. And then 3, both my kids are starting to ride a lot and stuff, and so it's kind of a hassle to jump on my gravel bike or road bike or whatever. I want something I can just put some platform pedals and tootle around with them and stuff. So that's basically the 4. I've been chomping at the bit to build another bike for quite some time now. It's always kind of a struggle when you have lots of bikes and trying to weasel your way into getting another bike into the mix. So if you kind of take one, retire one, and kind of put some of the parts onto the new one, so it's basically not technically it's not an extra bike, it's just an upgrade to another bike that's not going to cost a lot. That's kind of, I guess, the reason it's taken me so long to build this one is just cost wise. I don't have a lot of funds to buy parts. The main thing is going to be the parts to build this up with. I figure with the frame so far, with all of this frame fork, bottom bracket parts, all the bits and pieces, I've got it's about just under 200-ish or so for all of this. And then I figure I'm looking another maybe 200-ish or so that I'm going to be investing in parts. So I've been kind of scavenging up a lot of old parts that I've had and gathering things and finding things here and there. So I'm trying not to go too long-winded here. I've got a few somewhere. Here we go. I've got a few little designs kind of sketched up. Basically, I've got all the angles and dimensions and things. I haven't drawn it out to full-size drawing, so that's going to be probably video number 2. I've got a few random parts. This is going to be the cassette, old Redline hub with, I think this came off one of the old monocogs, but 135 spacings, just a standard 10mm axle, bolt-on, cassette, single speed, yada yada. I think I'm going to try an 18 maybe. That's with that same crank configuration. So try that. If that's too hard or too whatever, I'll get another cog, I guess. But this is all stuff. These kind of left over from my BMX days. I got some Primo tenderizer pedals. I got some S&M pedals also. I may try to use those. And right now I'm just trying to source some of the other parts, trying to decide on my rims. I know what tires I'm going to use, and then the handlebars. Get to that in another one. I've got a few things in the works there, and so yeah. That's basically what I've got going on. It's been gone on long enough. This is going to be conclude part 1. Please stay tuned for part 2. I think this is going to be a good one. Should be a really fun bike. So yeah. So timeline wise, I'm going to try to get this thing done hopefully by mid-October. So month and a half-ish. So I don't know. We'll see if we can get this done. Sooner the better, because I really want to ride this thing this fall. And decals I've already got. I ought to do something, maybe I'll show it in my next one, but I got some decals made up for the first frame that I built, and I've got a couple sets, so I'll put one on this bad boy. And yeah, that's all I got for now. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up very soon.